You know I can't let you guys out of here now. That isn't how this works. Now I'm gonna have to redesign all of you, but you know what you did. You're the first to get redesigned. Hey everyone. First things first, I want to set the video off with a warning. All these designs are subjective, as in I don't much like these Pokemon designs, and this is just my subjective redesigns of them. I'm not claiming I'm better than Game Freak or any of the artists there. I'm just pandering to myself with this. 5 designs, 3 Gen 1s, a Gen 4 and Gen 5. I think that some designs in Gen 1 absolutely are awesome. I mean, Nidoking, Ditto, Arcanine, Jigglypuff, all great designs. But there are some that just I'm very against. I look upon their face and go, you look wrong to me. Which is also what my parents said when I was born. But enough of this, let's get on to our first design, which might be the only Pokemon design which I can say, you're horrible. I could say literally nothing here actually about Jynx, and you'd understand why it needs this redesign. I mean, you go back to Pokemon's beginnings and Jynx was even worse, like so much worse. Wow. And did you know Jynx just has straight up feet? I honestly struggle to find good things to say about Jynx. Maybe the luxurious hair? The more I look at this, the more I just feel pain. What I want to change about Jynx, I want to give it a more monstrous design. I want to lean more into the Yuki Onna ice type theming, because I don't feel it in the OG design. I want to move as far away from what we got here, like different colours for skin and just no lips. What I don't want to change is the general shape. I kind of like the sort of big silhouette it has. Keep the hair in some form and keep the clothing theme, but change it to suit the new theme a little bit. So let's get onto the drawing. I wanted it to be ethereal and floaty. I changed the normal dress to be a kimono and made it so it would cover the mouth area. I can kind of imagine it when it talks, the top of the kimono just sort of rustles about. I changed the shock eyes to some more lazy, frozen over half eyelids, and one eye covered by hair for a more mysterious look. I also gave it an ice crown to fit that Ice Queen aesthetic they talk about in the Dex entries. I also got rid of the 5 fingers and opted for 3, because I wanted to remove this from being as humanoid as possible. I kept the dress colours the same but changed the skin to a light blue for obvious reasons, and gave a nice white gradient so that the arms look like they're made of snow. It's funny, after the Pokemon Stadium animation of them just blowing up, I imagine it doing that but into a pile of snow. I think this is distinct enough without stepping on the toes of Frostlass either. Jynx, the Ice Queen Pokemon, a Psychic and Ice type. Researchers found that Jynx of different regions have different cries and dance patterns that they use to communicate. Although bringing different region Jynx together, they still seem to communicate rather effectively. Jynx is known to live in cold areas and can be found dancing gracefully in the snow. It occasionally will butt heads with Frostlass when their turf gets too close together. This is what causes massive blizzards in regions. Some say that Jynx is actually just snow come to life. Dewgong isn't the worst, I'll admit. I just think it's a little impractical. I get it, most Pokemon are impractical, but it just feels like they took Goldeen and slapped it on Seal. I think Seal's a great design and it's cute, but Dewgong, it's cute, but What I aim to change with Dewgong is shift it closer to Seal by incorporating some of Seal's elements, get rid of the curtain fins and tail, and bring back the blap. I wanted to increase the horn, make it more like a sea lion, because its category is sea lion, and with those seen, it's not really looking like it'd be able to even walk on land. I started with the face, giving it a longer horn and big cute Dewgong eyes, keeping the seal muzzle and the blap, but also combining both stages' fangs together to make a more interesting look while not looking too derpy. I wanted to give it thick, strong looking fins while keeping a rather cute look to it still. The tail I struggled with. I didn't know how close I wanted to keep it to Seal, but in the end I opted for a swirly fountain look. I gave it some extra sticky out bits to emulate fur to make it look a little more shaggy, and ears, cute sea lion ears. The colours were almost exactly the same as Seal's. I jumped around with or without the muzzle and extra patterns, but I settled on the simplicity of Seal and Dewgong. Dewgong, the sea lion Pokemon, a water and ice type. Dewgong is most comfortable in frigid temperatures, either on land or sea. It is quite adept, and the snowy white fur it is cloaked in allows it to go completely unnoticed to predators. It can streamline its body in water to allow itself to swim up to 8 knots. If anything is in its way during this, it has a high chance of being impaled by the sharp horn upon its head. People who live in colder areas are enamored by Dewgong's adorable face and fuzzy body, and its willingness to help in rescue efforts for people stuck in cold waters. Oh, Ambipom, why do you look like you're gonna ask if I have any games on my phone? Why do you look like the secret fourth stooge? What is the go with those fingies? I think Hypno is cute, an interesting monkey with an extra hand, simple and funny. And then it gets double hit and becomes this. I just don't like it, it really irks me. And out of all the cross-gen Evos, this might be my most disliked one. In terms of things I want to keep the general silhouette almost like an in-between of Hypno and Ambipom. I also want to change it to look more wild and primal. If this thing's going to evolve learning double hit, I want it to be a wild monkey.
Monkey.
Immediately I set the general theme with the face. The fringe was weird, so I thought it'd be fun if the hair became sort of false eyebrows, and the nose, instead of being an arrow, turned into a nose that sort of looked like a band-aid. Instead of the anime girl hair, I gave it Hypno's mohawk but longer. I like the weird kind of unevolved arms that the lion has, just because they barely use them anymore, but the tail hands are used instead. So I opted for an action pose. It looks like it's about to slap the sense out of you. For the hands, I decided to move away from the, to more Hypno style of hand, but adding a little nubbin on each hand. It's evolving and the hands are too. Maybe one day a third Evo where it has 3 perfectly formed tail hands with thumbs. Colours are about the same. I opted to have the red from the fingers on OG Ambipom become an accent colour for the mohawk and nostrils. All in all, I'm pretty happy with this one. Ambipom, the dual tail Pokemon, a normal type. Upon evolution, Hypno's tail becomes 2, each with a highly advanced hand-like ending. At this point it has grown 2 smaller extra finger-like appendages, which would seem to be primitive thumbs. Ambipom rarely use their actual hands, and due to that, they've become almost non-existent, usually doing very basic things to the Pokemon that its large tail hands cannot. It's quite aggressive compared to Hypno, willing to slap and punch anything that would get in the range of its home tree. Oh, Hypno, you are a curse on the Pokemon world. Drowsy sort of is too, but I don't like how Hypno feels, like a disgusting, creepy man. I also ain't a big fan of it having a hypnotism device. I know the Abra lines get spoons, and even that I don't like much, but Hypno doesn't do it for me at all. It doesn't feel like a tapir anymore. What I want to change on Hypno is, give it a more reasonable hypnotism device, make it more similar to the theme of Drowsy, change its colours to fit with Drowsy more, and make it connect to the Munna line. When I started, I wanted to make it more in between Drowsy and Hypno, a taller but stockier tapir Pokemon with Hypno's neck fluff instead being like dream energy, a bit like Mishana, that it can pull from to create its hypnotism device. I even tried to see if Hypno's nose would work, but it just doesn't. I gave it a more wry smile because Hypno doesn't really have any mouth at all. I like the almost circus leotard pattern it has. That was sort of unintentional. In terms of colours, I went with almost full Drowsy colours. I kept the pinkish purple of Munna and Mashana for the dream clouds. And all in all, quite the simple change, but I think it's effective. Hypno, the hypnosis Pokemon, a psychic type. Hypno produce a strange mist substance that they can manipulate with their psychic powers. They turn this mist into a special tool which they hold in their hand. Looking into this swinging pendulum, you'll find yourself in a dream instantly. At this point, Hypno will then suck up the dream energy through its snout. This sustains Hypno as if it were a 5-course meal. Sleep therapists will train Hypno to help insomnia, but not devour dreams. This has helped the image of Hypno as a previously horrifying Pokemon. Maractus is probably the one out of this group I like the most. However, some things about the design irk me, and I really want to play up that fun, flowy mariachi dancer design. I also would like to give it the dancer ability because it deserves it. I definitely want to keep the general shape of Maractus and keep the patterns and face generally the same, while I'd like to mainly change the top of its head. I came up with the idea of it sort of grafting cacti to itself to create this almost cactus garden on its head that doubles as a cool mariachi hat, and allows me to really play up the spiky aesthetic that cacti have. I gave the arms sort of this almost cuff pattern that works as a maraca as well. Really wanted it to look like it could do these very flowing spins and maraca shaking, and so I added some little legs and feet, sort of like the Gothitelle line. Colours I didn't change, I felt like Maractus' original colours were just great as is. Maractus, the cactus Pokemon, a grass type. Maractus gather up various cacti around the desert it calls home and grafts them to the top of its head. Each Maractus has a unique arrangement and is a big factor in males attracting mates. Inside of their hands is a large hollow cavity where dried up seeds sit. When Maractus wish to do their dances, they will rattle around their arms, creating an upbeat sound similar to maracas. The sound it makes and the sharp spikes lining Maractus' body help deter bird Pokemon eager to devour the nutritious seeds they produce. I think all of them, apart from Jynx and Hypno, these Pokemon weren't too bad. They didn't need too much changing, but I really enjoyed doing these videos. What do you think of all the Pokemon redesigns? And if you like the video, drop a like and comment, and if you could share this around to other Pokemon lovers, I'd greatly appreciate it. Because it's actually my birthday the day I drop this video. Yes, I'm playing the birthday card and cannot be stopped. My next video, I need a winter holiday. It's too hot here in Astara. So let's go north and visit the snowy Silver Peaks and their gym leader Bo, who I hear is the only one left running the Silver Lodge and gym these days. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you here next week.
Happy birthday, may all your dreams come true. We wish you a happy birthday. It's your birthday!